A bird doesn't sing because it has an answer, it sings because it has a song. In this profound sentiment, Maya Angelou encapsulates her unwavering spirit to rise against the odds. Born in 1928 in St. Louis, Missouri, Maya's early life was marred by trauma. At just 3, she was raped by her mother's boyfriend. Following his arrest, he was released after 1 day, only to be murdered shortly after, presumably in retribution. Stricken with guilt, young Maya believed her voice caused his death, becoming mute for nearly 5 years, trapped in silence and burdened by unspoken trauma. Even in this silence, her spirit echoed with the cries of a caged bird, yearning to sing despite her prison. In Stamps, Arkansas, where she spent her youth, segregation enforced painful boundaries. These harsh realities of racism shaped her worldview. Her grandmother, Annie Henderson, ran a general store, a rare beacon of hope against systemic oppression. This was where Maya learned about strength, survival, and community. Every shelf in that humble store overflowed with the resilience of African American culture. It was a meeting place for laughter, support, and the sharing of burdens. It was here that Maya first tasted the sweetness of community amidst the bitter realities of oppression. Her experiences were part of a broader narrative woven through African American history. As she found her voice and began expressing her experiences through literature and performance, she turned her pain into a powerful form of resistance. The metaphor of a caged bird resonated deeply with her, trapped in a society seeking to silence her yet determined to sing. Her iconic poem, Caged Bird, reflects her life yearning for liberation. The caged bird sings not of joy, but of a desperate hope for freedom. The imagery in her verses offers a window into her soul, capturing her longing for a voice in a world that often renders the marginalized unheard. At the height of the civil rights movement, Caged Bird became both anthem and reflection of struggles faced by African Americans. A caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still. Here resides the essence of her spirit, a reflection of countless others longing for freedom. Emerging from childhood colored by trauma, Maya encountered the brutal realities of Jim Crow laws and stamps. The dividing lines of race were stark, and she experienced discrimination firsthand. The segregated schools she attended were a tangible reminder of an unjust system that sought to diminish her potential. Following a harrowing encounter with her mother's boyfriend, she fell into a mutism that lasted nearly 5 years. During this silence, literature became her sanctuary. Shakespeare, Poe, and Hughes filled the void, wrapping around her like a protective cloak, providing solace in a world that felt foreign and cruel. By her teens, Maya and her brother returned to San Francisco, a vibrant city alive with culture, yet shadowed by the racial tensions of the era. Here, she witnessed the potency of the African American community's resilience, alive with art, music, and activism. The streets were filled with the sounds of jazz and blues, a soundtrack to their struggles and triumphs. In 1944, at just 16, she became the first African American woman to work as a streetcar conductor in San Francisco, breaking barriers of gender and race with every turn she made. Yet, hostility tested her resolve. She faced taunts and discrimination from some passengers, yet she bore this burden with dignity, wearing her uniform like a badge of honor in her fight for equality. Maya's journey took another turn with the birth of her son, Guy, at 17. The challenges of single motherhood were daunting. She juggled the responsibilities of parenthood with her aspiration for a successful career. In the face of overwhelming odds, she refused to succumb to despair. Instead, she dedicated herself to work and her passion for performance and writing. Each story she crafted became a weapon in her arsenal against the silence that had once ruled her life. This relentless pursuit led her to Europe in the late 1950s, where her art blossomed among cultures and ideas, expanding her worldview. The cafes of Paris and the theaters of London welcomed her as an artist. She absorbed every influence, every voice that whispered the promise of freedom and expression. Returning to America, Maya became deeply intertwined with the civil rights movement, connecting with leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. These encounters were not merely historical footnotes, they were moments of synergy and awakening. With King's vision of nonviolence and Malcolm's call for empowerment, she found the duality of hope and urgency in their shared struggle. She transformed from an observer to an active participant, using her art to amplify the voices of the oppressed. In 1960, she wrote and delivered her poem On the Pulse of Morning at the inauguration of President Bill Clinton, marking a significant moment in her career. This poem, rich with imagery and hope, echoed the immense struggles of the past while casting a vision for a united future. The lines resonated with the weight of history while inspiring a new generation. In the midst of her rising fame, she remained committed to the civil rights movement, attending marches and rallies as a steadfast ally and advocate. She witnessed the raw passion in the streets, the collective heartbeats of those fighting for justice. Her poetry did not merely reflect the reality of African American life, it challenged the nation to confront its own conscience. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, her groundbreaking autobiography released in 1969, illuminated the monumental struggle she faced not just personally, but as a representation of countless African Americans enduring the same systemic hardships. With unflinching honesty, she laid bare her experiences, crafting a narrative that empowered and educated others. In an era teetering on the balance of oppression and liberation, her words served as both a mirror and a beacon. Through poetry readings, lectures, and performances, Angelou became a voice for the voiceless. Her association with pivotal figures in the civil rights movement, including her role as the Northern coordinator for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, positioned her at the forefront of change. She fought alongside activists, strategizing around dinner tables and in living rooms, her laughter mingling with serious discussions about freedom and equality. Maya Angelou was not merely an artist, she became a force in the ongoing fight for civil rights. The urgency of the movement pulsed through her veins. As she stood alongside leaders and ordinary citizens alike, she absorbed their struggles like a sponge, transforming pain into poetry and action. Her ability to articulate the joy and despair of the human condition rendered her a powerful figure in the narrative of the civil rights struggle. At rallies, her voice rose above the crowd, resonating with a mix of determination and hope. She urged people not to sit back and accept the status quo but to rise up and reclaim their identity, their rights, and their dignity. She understood the weight of history, she bore the burdens of those who came before her. The brutal realities of racism and inequality were not lost on her. She witnessed the lynchings, the injustices, and the relentless assault on dignity. Through it all, she channeled her experiences into her art, her works illuminating the complexities of being a Black woman in America. Her legacy became one of resilience, one of claiming a voice in a world that sought to silence her. Maya's journey through child abuse, racism, and discrimination led her to become an unyielding advocate for justice. She embraced her identity and celebrated her heritage, using each platform afforded to her to uplift the marginalized. Throughout the years, she continued to inspire others, portraying a narrative of strength and determination. As the civil rights movement evolved, Maya's poetry continued to reflect the shifting tides, offering solace to those who felt lost in the chaos. Each stanza she penned became a lifeline, a reminder of their shared struggle. In the 80s and 90s, her works echoed through universities, classrooms, and public forums. She wasn't merely recounting her story, she was crafting a movement through her words, urging others to rise and refuse to be caged. In the twilight of her life, Maya Angelou remained a force of nature, continuing to speak truth to power. Her legacy stretched beyond her own life experiences, intertwining with the historical narrative of a nation grappling with the depths of its injustice and striving towards a more equitable future. Her strength, determination, and unyielding spirit echoed in the hearts of countless individuals, reminding them of the power of their own voices. Maya Angelou's life was a testament to the power of art in the fight against oppression. Her words became anthems and echoes of resilience, inspiring generations to dream, to create, and to never forget the struggle for freedom and rights. In her words, we find the essence of humanity and the strength to rise, with the resolve to ensure that the caged bird can one day be unchained.